why don't you give folks a little bit of your background and just tell people how you got to where you are today?
Cool. Yeah, thanks, Dan. So I started out in my kind of real estate journey in the Bay Area. I call it the MC Hammer Days, which is in the Mission Hills, Fremont, San Jose, kind of Silicon Valley, and building houses with my dad and owning rentals. He was owning, and I was helping do those deals. And so as a part of that journey, I fell in love with real estate. The sticks and bricks and the ability to get cash flow and the ability to buy and sell deals. So fast forward, I played college basketball, and I was able to actually spend some time in San Diego and played down there, and then moved back to Northern California, finished out my career. But during that time, I took an internship at a company called Marcus & Millichap, where we learned how to help people buy and sell multifamily properties. And so I got training from some of the best in the business, but it wasn't always easy. I was still, even though I had a real estate background, I didn't know how to underwrite a property. I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to be a broker. So I had people training and coaching me. And this was in 2006. So the market was like red hot. Things were going really well. But then things started to slow down. So I went from making a little bit of money to like next to nothing overnight. And this was during the 2008 crash. I don't know if you've been somewhere, Dan, where you're so scared, you're not sure how you can provide for your family and how you're going to be able to, just keep the lights on. And so that's where I found myself either A, walking away from my real estate brokerage career at that time, or B, finding another way. So I'm in my mentor's office. It's a random Thursday. It's raining. Another deal just fell apart. I'm so frustrated. I'm like welling up with stress. I find myself like crying, like, oh my gosh, like I don't like a guy who cries. I'm like, I'm like giving everything. I've never failed before in a sense like this, but I feel like I'm failing. Part of that story too is my parents were divorced when I was young. So my dad had all the wealth, and let's say he just didn't pay the child support as much as he should have. So I was with my mom 90% of the time. And so I knew I didn't want finances to be this thing that caused stress for my family. But all of a sudden, this is exactly what's happened. So I'm newly married, baby at home. And so I go to my wife and I go, hey, look, a couple of options here. We can move in with my brother to a small condo. I can get a side job and hustle at Cheesecake Factory. And I can keep our dream going here to be financially, really successful. Or I can go get the 9-to-5 day job. And so she said, hey, I believe in what you're doing. Let's whatever it takes. And so we moved into this small condo. I humbled myself and I went to Cheesecake Factory, and he goes, hey, I'll hire you, but you have to be here for 2 years. Like, I don't want you leaving here in 5 months and you close a big $50,000 commission deal. Like I said, I'll be here for 2 years and no matter what. So that began the journey of my financial kind of journey and brokerage journey. But at the same time, my managers, my clients at the time were going through the huge challenge of too much debt, not enough liquidity, not enough diversification. They had overpaid via the 1031 exchange. And they knew they were overpaying in the 0506 market, but now they're losing half of it or all of it to the banks. And so my manager at the time brought in a gentleman to speak on the Deferred Sales Trust, which now I help and coach people on. And I started to apply it to my business. And fast forward, my business started to grow. Fast forward, my wife's been able to stay home full time with the kids. I've been able to retire from the Cheesecake Factory. And now I just coach and train agents on how to use this for high-end primary homes, save a failed 1031 exchange. It works for cryptocurrency, public stock, private stock. Needs to be at least $1 million or more in net proceeds and net gain in order for us to justify our fees. But that's all I do now, and it's my passion.
You have just listened to another information-packed episode of Capital Gains Tax Solutions with Brett Swarts. We hope you enjoyed today's show and found it helpful. Visit capitalgainstaxsolutions.com to access the show notes and to access more resources. Don't forget to leave a review and join us again next time.